Hi, everybody. I'm back from India and I've recovered from the long haul flight induced vertigo. Yeah, that's a thing, as it turns out. It knocked me for a loop for a week and I'm over the jet lag. And so today I'm just going to share some things with you that I've been doing to recover my energy and also just to get back into my strength training regimen. I'm a huge proponent of strength training, especially as we age. I myself am 55 years old and, I've had a lot of sports injuries and, you know, physiological disasters and the like. So I'm a huge fan of uh, lifting weights, of course, as well as body weight exercises and things like that. And of course, asana is fantastic body weight exercise. But today I'm going to show you a few things that I like to do when I'm trying to get back in the groove. So I've got a couple of blocks. I have a couple of dumbbells. These are just 15 pounders, so they're pretty light. For me, everyone's different. So if you use dumbbells, pick a pair that is right for you, meaning you're not going to injure yourself because the weight is too heavy. Better to go light and feel your way into heavier weights than to jack yourself up starting too heavy. I've also got a yoga strap and a long resistance band. And I'm just going to use all of these things today. So to start, I'm going to do a little bit of warm up, enliven my lumbosacral rhythm. And then I'm going to move into some dumbbell deadlifts, and the blocks will come in handy for that. And I'm going to show you some really fun high rows and then come down onto the mat for some more, classical or traditional asana practice. So let's get started. I'm going to begin on all fours with cat-cow. Your foot position's up to you. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. I just clicked at L5. I needed that. You inhale into extension. You exhale into flexion. Movement originating from the pelvis. Remember, your head follows your tail. And I'm starting with cat-cow, A, because I love it. And B, because I'm going to be doing hinge actions. And so I want to prime the pump through my hip axis because it's that transverse axis, AXIS axis, that is the primary movement axis of the body. And now I'm just going to deepen my movement a bit into a variation of cat-cow that in the Vinyasa yoga system is known as Chakravakasana. My exhale on flexion, exhale, exhale, exhale into the child's pose. Exhaling, exhale, deep, deep flexion. Inhaling, forearms down to the mat and sliding forward and up into the extension. Just gonna do one or two more. And then we'll come to neutral, and I'm just going to do some bird dogs for the fun of it. Now I'm going to start by lifting my left arm And then my right arm. Remember I said we were gonna do some high rows, so I'm just, moving my shoulders a bit. Plus I'm turning on the proximal insertions of my psoas for those yoga nerds out there. I like doing this variation because it's a little more challenging for the abs. Because once you lift your leg, your big old reliable gluteus maximus comes on and it kind of, drives the train. So I like to, you know, escalate things, if you will. And I'm not going to do a ton of these, just enough to get the body moving. You can see I'm not holding this for very long. I'm taking it slow, but I'm not doing sustained holds because I want this to be more dynamic as a warm-up to prepare my body for larger compound movements. And then from here, because I've got the strength and the bendiness, I'm going to go ahead and move my knees back where I know I need them to be. I'm going to pull my bladder up into my sacrum. I've got all 10 toes curled under and a little bit more weight to the little toe sides of my feet. And I'm going to keep pulling up through my belly, up onto the balls of my feet, heels moving down in the direction of the mat. And I'm just going to do some heel raises in downward facing dog. Not a ton of them, just enough. And then I'm going to look to my hands and I'm going to step one leg forward. This is my compromised knee. It's a little cranky. Step my right foot forward, keep my knees bent. I'm just kind of cradling my body between my thighs. And I'm just going to let my powerful legs cradle my rib cage. Oh, I just had a great deep fixation at T3, T4. And I'm just gonna hold on my elbows, let my body hang. Oh, I just went at T2. And now I'm gonna put my hands down on the mat. I'm gonna heel toe my feet in, ending with my toes in, and slowly drag my sitting bones up to straighten my knees. Let my head hang. Really keep pulling the energy up my legs, compressing the pit of my belly, hands to the hips. And then I'm going to inhale, not too fast, not too slow, hinge up to standing. And then I'm going to step in front of my blocks. Feels good. You want to do, about 5 minutes of warm up, movements that you're going to, that are evocative of what you're going to do. You don't want to get sweaty. You don't want to get tired. You just want to get warm. And I'm going to stand behind my blocks, my feet a wide hip widths apart. So I'm not standing on my joints here. I'm standing toward my outer hips. And then without too much ado, I'm going to bend down and pick up my dumbbells. So when you do this movement, this dumbbell deadlift, the key is you don't swing your weights out in front of you. You don't go down too far. You got to be able to come back up. Got to make the round trip. You also have to be able to keep your abdominals engaged through the entire movement. Otherwise, you'll feel the bottom fall out of it. Okay, so I've got the dumbbells comfortably by my sides. I'm going to think about pulling my bladder back, pulling my belly button back and up without tucking my tailbone. I just engage the muscles, and then I'm going to exhale, fold forward, tap my knuckles on my blocks, inhale and come up. I'm going to step a little closer to my blocks. Now I like to add a little plus at the end and push my hips forward. You can just say hello to your hamstrings, your ham butt, your abs. Of course, you're working your grip strength, which is great. Just do about 6 to 8 of these. And then with the next one, I'm going to fold, I'm going to come up, and I'm going to pull up and rotate the dumbbells up toward my ears. And then lower all the way down. And you're not swinging the weights, right? Control every aspect of the movement. I'm just going to do one more. And look. Now, I'm going to set my blocks out of the way, but I'm going to use them to lower myself onto my knees. And now I'm going to take my long resistance band and I'm going to put that behind my back. Now I could use the dumbbells, but I just want to give you some ideas for how to use resistance bands because a lot of folks think that they're kind of boring and they're not that hard. I assure you, you reap what you sow. So you can see I've got this long band. It's across the bottoms of my shoulder blades, the inferior angles. And then I'm just going to put my arms on the inside, pull out on the strap so that it's wider than my shoulders. And I'm going to push up and I'm going to pull down and push up. And you can see I keep my elbows inside the resistance band so I can keep pulling out on it through the entire range of motion. I know it's hard to see. And what I like about this, sure, it gets your delts, sure, it gets your pecs, your pec major and all, but you know what it really gets is your pec minor, which helps bring your arms together. And pec minor is super important for your shoulder health. And again, I'm just going to do a few of these. It's good for your forearms. You can see I'm not gripping the strap. My fingers are just sort of loosely around it. And then I'm going to rest. And I'm going to lift my hips just enough to get the strap out from under me. And then I'm going to put my feet in the band, the resistance band. And I'm going to readjust my shoulders so that my back bottom ribs are resting down on the mat. I'm on the center of my sacrum. I can still slide my fingers under my low back. And now I've got the resistance band just across my feet comfortably for me, across the front edge of my heels mainly. And I've just got my arms kind of hanging from the resistance band. And I'm gonna go ahead and pull down. It's not a huge movement, and push up. And you can make it a little harder if you want. Put your arms up a little higher, pull down, push up. course, the key to that, you saw me cheat a little bit as I got set, was to lift your arms off the floor. And I like this because it feels good on my reconstructed knee. Feels good in my low back. As I bring my knees down to my chest, my low back just naturally presses down to the mat. And then when I push my feet away from me, I come into my normal lordosis. So you can go straight up or you can push out. I like to do both. We know I'm an and person. And try this. And this is great because if you don't have access to a gym, to like a leg sled, this can be your home version. I think it feels so good. And just one more. And then I'm going to set the resistance band off to the side. Now I'm going to take my yoga strap. And again, recovering from a long haul flight and a long trip, we were gone for 3 weeks. That takes a lot out of you. It's different food, it's different water, different habits, different cultural habits and norms, of course. And again, it's taken me some time, and it was a 12.5 hour time difference. And the general rule of thumb is for every hour of time change, you need 24 hours of recovery time. That's how long it takes for your suprachiasmatic nucleus, your brain clock, to get with the local time zone. For every hour of time change, 24 hours of adjustment. So you go to a place like India from, my neck of the woods in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area, that's a 12.5 hour time difference. So we are looking at a 12 to 13 day recovery. And that's accurate. So here I am now on the back body and I have my strap. And I'm going to take the strap and put it around the ball of my left foot and straighten out my right leg. And I'm just going to find my Tadasana foot, my right arm out to the side as a counterweight. And you can see I'm pretty flexible and I've been doing yoga for decades. So I've got my right leg comfortably on the mat, but I'm turning my leg in a little bit so that I don't just flop the leg onto the mat. And then I'm gonna inhale the breath, exhale, and just draw the leg toward my head. I'm not gonna force it, really just let the leg find its spot. And then I'm gonna slide away. And then I'm gonna turn the toes out. And I'm gonna sweep the leg out to the side without rolling my body. And then I'm gonna bring it back to center. And because that felt so good, I'm gonna do it again. And back to center. And then I'm gonna change my hand on the strap, change the arm on the mat, and I'm gonna exhale and I'm gonna roll, roll, roll onto the outer right hip. I'm not trying to touch the floor. I'm gonna keep pushing out through my heel, and then I'm gonna come back. And again, because that felt so good, I'm gonna go ahead and do that again. And then I'm gonna come back to center. And now I'm gonna exhale. I'll go ahead and take the toe hold because I can. And I'm just gonna enjoy this iliopsoas stretch on my right leg that's resting on the mat, and then all this great hamstring stretch, calf stretch through my left. And I'm going to keep my left shoulder blade heavy because I don't want to be striving for the bind. I want to be able to relax. And then, I'll go out to the side and come back to center. And then I'll change the toe hold and go ahead into the revolved Supine Chest C. Come back to center. Change the arm. Move my leg toward my face. Now, you may find you gotta keep using the strap. That's cool. Use the strap. It's there to make your arms longer. Don't sacrifice your hamstrings on the altar of ego. And then I'm gonna release, but I don't want my leg to bounce away from me. I'm gonna control the descent. Ooh, nice little pop in my reconstructed knee and my kneecap. I needed that. And I'm just gonna rest for a moment and notice how catawampus I feel. The left side feels a lot more connected to the earth, and it feels so much longer than the right. And I don't want the right to feel jealous. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna keep my pelvis grounded, roll my legs in just a little bit, and then I'm gonna exhale and sweep my right leg up. I'm gonna bend the knee. Not even gonna try to lasso the foot. Take the strap on my right hand, Tadasana, feet. It's not a hard push out through the heels, but it's definitely an active one. Now this is my replaced hip side, so I give myself a lot more time. I had an anterior approach hip replacement. They went in from the front, so I don't have to worry about forward folds and the like. But I still don't like to be aggressive. That's being aggressive with myself that resulted in a hip replacement when I was 47 years old. Like, I don't recommend that, folks. And then I'm gonna keep my left side grounded, sweep my leg out to the right. May have to move this bolster. And sweep my leg out to the right. Come back to center. Sweep the leg to the right. Come back to center. Change the hand on the strap. Now this next movement I'm super careful with because of the hip replacement. Notice how I'm really rolling my pelvis first. I don't want to lead with my leg, and I'm not going to go nearly as far because internal rotation and adduction, ADD, adduction is tricky for those of us with hip replacements. So I'm being really careful. Still feels good. And then I'm going to change the hand on the strap. Let's just see. Wow, there we go. And now I've got the toe hold on this side. But I can tell I'm fighting a bit between my hip and my shoulder. The hips and the shoulders are sympathetic axes of movement. I don't want them to, have tension in their relationship. So I'm just going to go ahead and keep the strap in place. And then I'm going to go ahead and open to the right. Oh, once again. And then to the right. Once again, because this is what this side wants. And now I'm going to release the strap from my foot. And slowly lower the right leg to the mat. Just notice how I feel. And I gotta say, I feel a lot better. If I had any common sense, I would do Shavasana right now, but I got other things I want to do with my time. So instead, I'm going to have a little seated meditation. And sometimes I'll do that instead of Shavasana. I'll do a seated or a supine meditation.
And like if you don't mind just being intimate with the mat, no props, just straight up Shavasana, I believe that there's value in learning this pose without props. Now, obviously, if you experience discomfort or outright pain, use the props, right? Put something behind your knees, etc. But I actually really like it. So I will be quiet for a moment and just notice how I feel. You know, that's really why I practice, is to notice and pay attention to how I feel. I joke all the time that I prefer to think about my feelings rather than feel them, probably because I am a big crybaby Cancer. And so, I've cried at inopportune times in my life and I'm sensitive to it. So I think I've developed, these strategies for reducing my sensitivity, if you will. But that comes at a cost. And that's where practice has been so helpful to me personally, is it's really encouraged me to feel my feelings. And now I'm going to get set up for some seated meditation. So I'm going to bend one leg and then the other. I'm going to roll to my left side. Take at least 4 rounds of breath when you transition from lying down to your side body. You need about 20 seconds for the baroreceptors in your carotid arteries to prepare for the change in body position when you transition to head above the heart. So I like to really breathe into the skin of my back. And then I'm going to turn my heart center down toward the mat a little bit. I'm really going to pull my belly button back. Keep dragging my belly button back. And come to a comfortable seat. I feel pretty good now. I hope you do too.